but this individual went to a specific classroom that was essentially in a study session for an exam on economics and chose that classroom. And we know from a witness inside that this gunman yelled something. We don't know what this individual yelled, and then began shooting.
Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bells, get notifications. Anytime I go live, I make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the Brown shooting, which is incredibly troubling. You know, and the weird thing is that I want people to understand, I think this was incredibly, I don't say incredibly targeted. That's a ignorant way to say it. But this was a targeted incident. When you have a person allegedly driving probably over 1,000 miles or so to get to this location, specifically to go into a specific classroom on a Saturday. Normally, colleges aren't hosting anything on Saturdays. So this individual, whom they haven't caught yet, they thought they had a suspect, wasn't the suspect. This individual knew exactly what classroom, knew exactly what was going on in the classroom, and knew that it was something going on a Saturday. To me, that's either a person who's been wronged or felt like that they had been wronged, being a part of this school, a part of this classroom. They had somebody was in love with, they got broken up with. I don't know what the case may be, but it seemed like a person had their eye on this particular classroom. Now, one of the things that have come out right now that's very troubling is the fact that they haven't found the suspect. I think that's probably incredibly troubling, because if they haven't found a suspect, that means the person could have the potential to go and do this at other places. Or if the person went in to kill a certain person or kill as many people as possible, or whatever the case may be, they're at large right now to finish the job, right? I mean, kids are going to be terrified to go back to school because the person may return back to finish what he started. And the reason I say he, because 9 times out of 10, it's a man. Women typically don't do stuff like this in this fashion. But let's get to some of the news clips that's out there. I think one of the clips that I want to showcase was the clip of them not releasing the guy that they originally had in custody, illustrating that there is nobody in custody at this point. So let's roll that clip. I think it's clip 302. Let's roll 302.
That the person of interest that they have now released is not the person in this video, the video that's been seen all around the world, showing a person leaving the scene of the shooting on Saturday afternoon. The AG said while there was some evidence that justified detaining this person, recent evidence and lab testing from the scene is pointing them in a different direction. Providence's mayor, Brett Smiley, says even though the murderer is still on the loose, they are not reinstating a shelter-in-place order that was lifted just before 6 a.m. yesterday and are now instead increasing the police presence.
We will be releasing the person of interest who had been detained earlier today. We know that this is likely to cause fresh anxiety for our community. And we want to reiterate what we said earlier, which remains true, which is ever since the initial call, now a day and a half ago, we have not received any credible or specific threats to the Providence community.
Now, the chief of police here in Providence says a tip led them to the now released person of interest, reportedly a 24-year-old man from Wisconsin. The FBI helped locate him at a hotel 20 miles south of Brown University in Coventry, Rhode Island, where he was detained on Sunday morning. Investigators also admit this video of the person of interest is the best video they have of the potential gunman. They don't have video of the gunman's face. The AG says there was not a lot of cameras inside the engineering building where the shooting took place because it's an old building. Meanwhile, the community here holding a vigil for the 2 students killed and 9 others wounded in Saturday's shooting.
All right, let me go to Ground Out News real quick. I want you guys to see this, because if you are considering being informed on the topic, you need to go to Ground Out News, because Ground Out News can show you from the left side, from the center, from the right side of the content, what people are saying. It appears to me that when researching this, it's over 246 articles, that majority of the right, the center, and left is saying the same thing. When it comes to tragic events like this, most of the time they try to stay nonpartisan and project the truth. Because this guy did not use an AR-15, allegedly. He did not use an AR-15. It looked like he used a handgun. The naysayers and the leftists aren't talking about gun control as much as they normally talk about. But I want you to go on and visit, if you haven't, Ground Out News. If you can see, I have the Vantage plan, which everything is covered under the Vantage plan, meaning you get access to all of the options here, meaning you can see what outlets are doing what, how many articles are being written by the left, the right, the center. You can go on and see the factuality, the ownership, you name it. You can click, if you want to look at Rhode Island politics, if you want to look at U.S. crime, policing, all of those things you can click so you can stay up and informed from every perspective. And this is why I love Ground Out News, because it gives you the raw and uncut, filtered through every single outlet that's promoting the content. So go to ground.news/Tatum, ground.news/Tatum, and I think you get about 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the plan that I use, and we're going to go from there. Now, let me add something here. After somebody goes and shoots up the school, now they want to increase police presence. I do not under effing stand. Like I want to cuss. I don't understand why we can't be proactive. Hire more police proactively, and therefore they're on campus protecting these students year round. Hire private security. Whatever you have to do, you should have enough security to deter people from coming on campus and doing this. The reason that you see people going to schools and doing this is because it's a gun-free zone. That means there's nobody there. That means there's nobody that's going to stop them from going and shooting up everybody. And I think it's pretty clear that that's what's going on. There's a couple other things that has gone on in the news that I want to point out. Young lady, I think her name was Ella. I could be wrong, but she was a conservative Christian young lady. There was a church service, I guess, honoring her. I want to play the clip real quick of her because it was very sad. It's another young man that was identified as one who had gotten killed. Multiple people killed, even more injured. I think it was 2 that was identified as being killed, and I think it was like 9 others. But this is the young lady. I want to just play this little clip to honor her because it's very unfortunate that she lost her life. I'm not sure if the shooter was targeting her specifically and the other person, or he was just spraying and praying and only got a chance to get to these 2 as far as killing somebody. I wrote a clip.
I want to share a word with you before we sing and before you hear the name in our prayers. It's a tremendous heaviness that is upon our congregation today. Many of you heard about the tragedy which happened at Brown University, the shootings which took place, and a number of young people who died. And sadly, tragically, one of those people is one of our parishioners. Ella Cook was one of those. Richard and Anna Cook's daughter, Hooker, and Mary Hamner's sister was one of those. And for those of you who knew her, who know her, she was a just incredibly grounded and generous and faithful and bright light, both here at the Advent over many years as she was engaged and involved in our worship and in our community, and as she served here at the church and in the wider community. In all sincerity, just a tremendous Ella, a tremendous and bright light, and there at Brown University as well in the time that she was there, was such a light and such a witness.
All right. I just wanted to play this little clip for him, but just to honor her a little bit, because I think it's very sad. That's somebody's daughter. It's insane that families have to go through this, man. As a father, I could not imagine my child getting killed on something stupid like this on campus. Just going there trying to get an education. I want to play a couple of the video footage clips of what they report as new camera angles, because they don't have the suspect at this point. We don't have a clear motive. The original video footage that they showed us was kind of inconclusive, right? You can't deduce anything from that. But they have some new footage that they want to show, and I want to play this because if anybody knows this person or know of this person or have any tips, please contact the local government there at Brown University. You can do the university police, anybody that has jurisdiction to investigate, please contact them. I wrote a clip.
This is the first video that we're showing you. This is the individual walking. It's on the sidewalk of Benevolent. And this is prior to the incident. Here we go again with is this video too, Mike. Again, you see him walking. want to the third video? And you want to, these are some photos of this individual. And they will all be time-stamped. The last photo.
Now, let me explain the reason why they show these what appear to be ridiculous videos. One of the reasons is because whether you recognize it or not, someone who knows this person may recognize that person. Because if you don't know him, looking at a grainy picture of somebody is like, pointless to you. But if you know this person, meaning it's your child, just like the Tyler Robinson's family recognized him from a video that none of us knew. The thing is that when people know you, they know the way you walk, they know your posture, your build, they know the way your facial structure is, they know the type of clothes you wear. And this is the reason why they post videos like this, because it may seem insignificant to somebody who absolutely don't know the guy, like us. But somebody who know them, there's key things: the way people stand, the way people walk, their gait, the way people, the type of clothes they wear, the way they wear their clothes. All of that could be indicators for somebody that's like, that's Kevin. Kevin walk like that. Kevin stands like that. Just a weird way that he walk, with his back straight like that. It can be little clues like that inform the public if you know the person. These videos are not put out there for you to find the person. The videos are put out there in case somebody knows the person and can identify them based on those principles. Now, the people in the media has gotten a tremendous amount of backlash. When I say people in the media, I mean the school's president, the chief of police, and then also Chuck Schumer. He's gotten backlash. I want to play those 3 clips so you see exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to interpret the frustration that people may feel based on the way these people are responding. Let's start with the president, because she got grilled. Roll the clip.
President, with all due respect, 6 hours after the shooting, and you said you don't know what was going on in that classroom. How does that happen? Were they taking an exam? Were they meeting for a club?
I don't know.
6 hours later, and you're the president, and you don't know.
I do not know.
Well, that's kind of concerning.
Well, so there's two ways to look at that, right? The president of a university, knowing exactly what's going on and look like a student-led function, meaning it was supposed to be a review. Like I think one of the students was holding a review for tests. It's not scheduled. It's not on a syllabi. So the president may have no idea that this is going on or what the details of the class is, because it's not even on the record, potentially. And so I can understand that, but I can also understand the frustration because it appeared that there's a level of insouciance, which means that the president doesn't seem to care enough to look this up. The president doesn't care enough to want to be briefed on exactly what the heck is going on. And some of these people are more apt to say, I don't really care. I'm going to let the investigators do their job. There's others who say, I do care because these were students at my university and I want to get to the bottom of it or know as much information as I can. Now, the police chief took his licks too. We can go to that clip. I think it's clip 304. Roll that clip.
It's about the process.
The most common question I've gotten for the last 24 hours, it revolves around the fact that Brown University is the most camera-ridden, most responsive piece of real estate in Rhode Island, and yet there seems to be little or no video evidence outside of that clip. Respecting the investigation, is there a lot more video that we're just not able to see yet because of the ongoing investigation, or is there simply no video?
So what we shared with you the other day is what we have that we could share, and then we'll continue to, again, we're continuing to collect evidence. As we speak, we have detectives out there trying to continue to find. So I don't want to tell you that there's no more video because we might find something within the next few minutes. So yes, it's possible, but what we gave you the other day is what we have. Go ahead.
Colonel, if you wouldn't mind.
So let me explain this from a police perspective. There's a few things going on here, right? You don't want to divulge, and then we got to get the ground news. You don't want to divulge too much information, right? You don't want to throw out everything, and you want the suspect to know you got him. So there's times where they don't want to release everything to the public because they don't want the suspect to know we got evidence. They want to throw a little bit out there, right? And then the suspect is looking at what you see on TV and say, oh, they have nothing on me. They got these little grainy, they'll never find me. When in actuality, they could have a lot more evidence, and they're not going to present that to the public. I want people to understand that. They did that in the Idaho thing, and I told y'all that. I said they got way more information. They just don't want to disclose some of that stuff to the public. So in this situation, this could be the case where you don't need to get so frustrated with them because there are other items of investigatory information that they may actually have that they're not going to disseminate and disclose. Y'all have to understand, and I want you guys that watch me to be informed on this, is the investigation is not about you. There's a small obligation for the investigators to disclose to the public what's going on for public interest. But at the end of the day, they have no obligation to you. They're trying to investigate a crime. They're trying to prosecute people, and they want people to go to prison for these heinous crimes that they're doing. They're not sitting around trying to make sure that you're currently informed on the investigation. That's not their job. And to be honest, they shouldn't put a lot of stuff in the public. Now, when they have the suspect in custody, they can release a little more information, but you do not want to taint a jury pool or have any mishaps because your whole case get thrown out and the killer will go scot-free, and then y'all be mad at them for messing up the case.